Welcome to the HR L&D Podcast Bite-Sized, the show that explores the latest trends and insights impacting people-centric leaders, human resources professionals, and learning and development specialists, with me, your host, Nick Behne. These are short snippets from my main podcast show that feature expert guests sharing their knowledge and experiences to help you stay up to date with the latest best practices and strategies impacting the future world of work. Remember, if you need support recruiting talent for your HR business, please do get in touch with myself or any of my wonderful experienced recruitment colleagues at jgarecruitment.com. But for now, sit back, grab your favourite beverage, and let's get started with today's bite-sized episode. What other kind of accessibility tools are out there in the public domain that would be very easy for an HR team or for a leadership team to bring into the workplace that would just make someone who has got, lots of hearing, make their lives a little bit easier, that perhaps, they don't have to be overly expensive or probably readily available, such as the captioning on Zoom, which we're using right now, which I was never aware of until we had this show. Are there other accessibility things that people need to be more aware of to make sure that they are creating more inclusive workplaces?
Absolutely. And you actually hit the nail on the head with the video captioning that's available. So when the world shut down in 2019 or 2020 from COVID-19, we all switched to video conferencing, right? Which was actually a blessing for me because everyone was now looking at me all the time and I could read their lips. And I went from catching maybe 50% of what was being said in meetings to 90+%. We know these live captions aren't always accurate, but I'm filling in so many less blanks than I have been before. So that's one thing that people can easily do in meetings: flip their laptop up, start a Teams or Zoom, whatever video conferencing platform they have, and turn on the live captions. Now, what makes it even better is if the meeting room you are in is wired with microphones throughout, then you can tap into the technology in that meeting space, and those microphones will feed the captions on your computer. And that is fantastic because your computer doesn't have as wide of a reach. Another thing that's really easy, and it's a little bit more recent, but all of iPhones and Androids now have live captioning built into their software. So you can go into your settings and accessibility and turn on live captions. And at all times on my phone, I have a live caption option where it streams the conversations that are happening. And it is fantastic. I was going to show you here, but it's fantastic because this will just run the conversation that's happening. Again, you're limited by the pickup from the microphone of your tool here, of your phone. But those are on, like I said, both Android and iPhones right now today. The other thing that, as you think about some of the easy fixes, if you will, is really around spatial awareness. So when I walk into a meeting room, there's so many things that go through my mind that don't go through the minds of someone who has normal hearing. I'm thinking about who's going to be doing most of the talking in that meeting and how do I position myself to make sure I can hear them. I'm also thinking about who is most people going to be doing the talking to. So if there's a senior leader in that meeting that everyone will be presenting to, I want to place myself by them because that's where all the sound projections will be aimed.
Oh.
The other thing is there are certain spaces that have loud fans, background noises that just don't work for me. So ahead of time, if I know a meeting is scheduled in a room that's not good, I will ask that meeting scheduler to move to a different room where I know those acoustics are better. So when you think about spatial awareness in the meeting rooms, it's really walking the space and seeing what's available and where you can position yourself to have the most success. But I will say the one thing that is the most impactful is awareness. And the more people I have told about my hearing loss, the more inclusive they try to be. And it kind of takes away all of the negative stigma, if you will, around having a hearing loss. And I've learned throughout my journey, my hearing loss journey, that It is so much more important for me to be honest and open about what my needs are from a communication perspective than to try to hide it, because that can lead to some really to some friction and strained personal relationships along the way, versus saying, I didn't hear you and I need to hear you. So this is what we should do differently. Even so much so in, in meetings, when you do introductions and you go around and say who you are and what your position is, I often start mine out with, hi, I'm Nicole. I have a hearing loss and I need you to speak up in this meeting. Things will change a little bit from a normal meeting, because if I don't hear you, I'm going to ask you to repeat yourself. And you may see me walking around the room, and it's not to be distracted, but it's to make sure that I can hear the conversations that are happening from different spots in this conference room. So I'm open at the front of those meetings to let people know that it's going to look a little bit different with me in the room. And that has helped more than anything. People want to help. They want to be my wingmen and make sure that, that I'm getting what I need from a communication perspective.
I hope you enjoyed today's bite-sized edition of the HR L&D podcast. Remember to subscribe to the show, share it with all of your HR colleagues and friends, and why not also check out some of our previous episodes for more golden nuggets that may just help you along in your own people career journey. For now, I'm Nick Day, and you'll be listening to the HR L&D podcast, Bite-Sized.